Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back. Let's get into it.
Zara Sultana, the Coventry South MP, who's been suspended from the Labour whip since last September, has just announced that she's resigned from the Labour Party after 14 years as a member. And she said this: Jeremy Corbyn and I will co-lead the founding of a new party with other independent MPs, campaigners and activists across the country.
But what gives me hope is the fact that Palestinian people keep fighting, keep resisting, who refuse to let their land be colonised, who refuse to let their land be stolen, who refuse to be silent when they are enduring genocide by one of the most powerful militaries backed by the greatest superpower, the richest country in the world.
كل الدار غرفها كويسه الا غرفته هي اللي فيها بالضبط. بابا دكتور قلب في المستشفى الاندونيسي، مدير المستشفى الاندونيسي، لا هو في حركه ولا بينتمي لاي شيء، هو بس بخاف على المرضى وبيعالج وبطبطب طول الحرب وهو
What do Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Airbnb, Chevron, BP, and even major universities have in common? According to a new UN report, they're all being implicated in what's being called Israel's economy of genocide. The report comes from Francesca Albanese, UN Special Rapporteur for the occupied Palestinian territories. She says over 60 corporations have been profiting from Israel's decades-long occupation, one that has escalated into genocide. Among those named, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, cited for supplying cloud and AI services used in Israel's war on Gaza. AI systems like Lavender have helped automate the selection of bombing targets in Gaza since the beginning of Israel's war. Project Nimbus, a $1.2 billion deal between Google, Amazon, and the Israeli government, was signed in 2021 to support this kind of infrastructure. When workers inside these companies spoke out, accusing their employers of enabling deadly force, many were fired. But tech is just the beginning. Bulldozers crashing homes to make way for illegal settlements, Caterpillar supplied them. Chevron and BP power the grid that Israel uses to entrench permanent annexation and services the military while it obliterates Gaza. Booking.com and Airbnb market holidays on settled land. Universities like Edinburgh partner in research that builds a surveillance state and is directly linked to assault against Palestinians. Defense firms like Elbit Systems, the arms company that Palestine Action has repeatedly targeted, causing the UK to try and prescribe them as a terrorist organisation, was also listed for its role in arming and enabling military action in occupied territories. And if that wasn't enough, there's been an 179% surge in Israel's stock exchange since October 2023, clear evidence of financial gain from the war in Gaza. But this report isn't just about corporate involvement. It raises legal questions. Can companies and executives be held accountable for aiding crimes like apartheid or genocide? Albanese has urged UN member states to impose sanctions, suspend trade and arms agreements, and begin legal proceedings, not just against states, but private corporations and their leadership. On Twitter, she wrote, "There is no glory in upholding a system that enables and defends genocide. Step away and build an alternative rooted in safety, dignity, and equality for all, without exception." Israel's response: the report is defamatory, legally groundless, and a misuse of the rapporteur's role. It doesn't carry legal force, but it could influence international law, corporate regulation, and future prosecution. Albanese's office has compiled a broader database of over 1,000 entities, and this could be just the beginning.
I just want to add that, if you speak up against genocide, most likely you're going to get fired. Or worst case scenario, you might be jailed. Or what the Bob Villain did. His visa got revoked. What else did it happen? His talent agency dropped him. If you go against the powerful elite, you're gonna get punched in the face and told to shut up. And I salute everyone that who goes against the agenda. It must be difficult, especially if it affects your finances or whatnot. But when there's something wrong going on, so like a genocide, gotta speak up.
Mariam Abu Dhaka was the heart of her parents' world. A blessing amidst the war, born after years of IVF treatment. When his daughter became sick, her father, Abdullah, issued desperate appeals for help online, sending message after message to the World Health Organization requesting evacuation. Permission was finally granted, he says, the day after she died. Abdullah looks and sounds a broken man.
This is Mariam's teddy bear. The bear is still here, but Mariam is gone. Mariam was the smartest child in the world. Her mother and I used to call her Your Honor. She was so strong-willed.
Thousands of sick and injured children need urgent evacuation from Gaza, but hardly any are being allowed out by Israel. 6-year-old Mariam fell ill in January. Doctors couldn't understand what was wrong and referred her for evacuation. It never happened. 6 months later, she died.
I didn't get to enjoy her. I didn't get to enjoy her laughter. She vanished in the blink of an eye.
It's hard to imagine anything crueler than a parent watching their child die slowly in front of their eyes, powerless to help.
Every morning, I ask, where are you, Mariam? No one feels our suffering. Why is this happening to us? We have not harmed anyone. I stand against all bloodshed, regardless of who it is. If I found a Jewish child in need of help, I would be the one to help him.
Gotta take a tough stomach to watch all this, It gets really disturbing and emotional. Trying to control myself is over. But dang. Yeah, you don't know what they're going through. You never experience it, but you can always imagine, that your child or your family member in that situation, It's innocent kids and they're really killing them.
Tig, pick up on that, what Emily's saying. Flying the Hamas flag, which we saw from NECAP, they're a designated terrorist organisation, and saying death to the IDF, isn't that taking it a step too far than just saying free, free Palestine?
Well, I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that vast swathes of the global south would see the IDF as akin to a terrorist organisation. They would see Israel as illegally occupying Palestine. And many people in the West now are coming round to the realization of just how brutal, just how oppressive the settler colonial project of Zionism is in Palestine. And I think to demonize the resistance is getting harder and harder for the Israelis when on our phones every day we are seeing the brutal effects of the Israeli war machine all over the region. So in my view, when an artist, in the context of a gig particularly, says death to the IDF, By the way, he's not calling for the killing or the murder of individual people. He is commenting on what I would perceive to be a war. It might have started off as some sort of war. It's now an absolute genocide between an oppressive colonial force and people who are resisting that oppressive colonial force. In every context I can think of, you would say death to the enemy. If people support the Ukrainian war effort, as Wes Streeting went on record as saying recently, he said, oh, well, I wouldn't like to see the death of Russian soldiers. Well, unfortunately, that's what happens. That's conflict. There's a complete logical disconnect. If you want your side to win, the other side has to lose. And so to say death to the IDF is not calling for the death or killing of individual Israelis or Jewish people. It's calling for the death and the end to this oppressive military machine, which has carried out war crimes on a daily basis, admitted by their own human rights organizations and their own press in Israel. That's the story. And British complicity in that ongoing genocide is the story. To be centering the speaking points of a punk band or kneecap is a disgrace to the victims of this ongoing Holocaust.
Okay, look, I'm going to get Ambassador to respond, but I would just say on that point, I myself have seen in the last 2 weeks that if you dare to criticize the Israeli government in a way that almost everybody is now doing, by the way, whether it's former Israeli prime ministers, whether it's allies of the country, you name it, people are queuing up to criticize the Israeli government. But when I did it, despite having defended Israel's right to defend itself for many, many months, as Bassem knows, we argued about it, that I was immediately accused of being a Jew hater and an anti-Semite. It is a deliberate campaign. It was a deliberate campaign to shut me up. It was a deliberate campaign to stop me criticizing the Israeli government by branding me a Jew-hating anti-Semite, which anyone who's watched this show from the start of this war knows is complete nonsense. Right? Every second on social media, I saw myself being accused of being a Jew-hating anti-Semite.
Criticism against you was. You know that the criticism against you wasn't because you have criticism against Israel. It was because how you spoke to Natasha, the tone and the demeanor. It wasn't the content.
Which I make no apology for, by the way. She is a barrister for a group called Lawyers for Israel. She's not an impartial horse in the race. She's supposed to be an international barrister. If she can't take tough questions or being challenged or being interrupted by a journalist, she's in the wrong job.
Alright guys, I'm going to end the video there. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.